All right, so I think I made my way around to pretty much everybody to lower expectations for this toast. Um, but I am Trevor, the best man and Mitch's older brother. Um, Stop looking at me like that, Mitch. So, I am his older brother, so I have known him most of his life. When we were growing up, he was a handful, as many of you know. He was a terror. He, would beat me and my two sisters up, all from the age he was like 3 years old. And we let him because he was our little brother. And um, as Amy's family knows, because they've met him most recently, he hasn't changed very much since then. He's still quite the terror. Um, but him and Amy are great together. Amy, you look beautiful today, as always. I'm really glad that you decided to settle for my brother and get him out of our lives and take him down to San Diego. But you guys are great. Mitch, I just remember when we were little and we would fight and we would fight and we would fight. And I would just let you win all the time. All the time. You didn't really beat me. I would let you win. And then you grew up and then you started beating me for good. And but seeing you grow up and see how much you've matured and what you're doing with your life now, it's great. It really is. And I don't know how you got Amy to fall in love with you, but she did. And Amy, it's great to have you in the family. And Paul was telling me, my Uncle Paul, he was telling me today that Mitch was happy as he's ever seen him. He said, normally Mitch is this grumpy little boy, and that's how we all remembered him, but today he was nothing but smiles. And so I really hope that you can keep that going. And I hope that Amy can keep you happy, and you can keep her happy. And I think that's going to be it. So to Mitch and Amy, I hope you have a great marriage and keep having fun.
Really know how to give toast. But, when I was thinking about this, I remember this saying that I heard a few years ago that I really liked. And it said, eternal life begins now. And it's kind of cool. It's a cool saying because it reminds me, it made me think that a lot of times we think about eternal life happening after we die. But it really happens now. We've started now. And, boy, I look at you guys, I'm going to cry. All right. Eternal marriage begins now. You guys have started it today. And this is something that's going to last forever. And marriage is pretty cool because it takes two people, binds them together as one. So before you got married, like yesterday, you guys would do things, enter into contracts, make promises, and the consequences were just to you, right? But now, for better or for worse, it's for both of you, right? Whatever Amy does tomorrow, you're going to suffer the consequences, Mitch. So hopefully there'll be good consequences. Usually they are. But it's a shared consequence. And it's a real great blessing. It's a very amplifying thing in your life. So because of this, you get lots of advice. You guys have heard lots of advice. Your friends, families, people that you love, they've given you advice. You've probably read books, right? People do studies, tell you things. People with experience will tell you things. You'll have inspired people, stake presidents have told you things. Steeler today told you stuff, right? Bishop. So all this advice is great, but don't take it. Don't take it. Don't just take advice that's given to you. These people, all of us, we're imperfect. And sometimes we make mistakes, right? But there's a lot of good advice that you'll hear. Listen to it all, and then talk to each other, and make it together. Whoa. Yeah, listen and decide together, because you guys are smart, you love each other, and again, you have shared consequences, right? So the best choices that you're going to make, you'll make together. And I think that's so important, because marriage is a magical thing. It makes it possible to do things that by yourself you would have never imagined. But you can really do awesome things. And you guys are awesome people, and I really hope that you have an awesome eternal marriage. Thank you. Love you guys. Oh, I have to do the cheers thing. Oh, okay, what do I do? Cheers? Yeah. Okay. See, I don't know how to do toast.
That was great.
All right, man.
Thanks, Dad.
Love you guys.
Mike's over there.
Oh, who's? Oh.
Good job. I'm not supposed to do that into the microphone, but it's kind of clarification. When Trevor said that Mitch used to let him beat him up, he really did. I mean, when he was growing up, Trevor would be on the ground and Mitch would just be pounding on him, and Mitch would put this clothes basket over him and then crash into it and stuff. And I'd be like, Mitch, or I'd say, knock it off, and he would just keep doing it. And then I said, Trevor, knock the snot out of him. Just pound him. You can't let him do this to you. You got to beat up your brother, And he's all, Dad, I can't. He's my little brother. So it's really cool to see him like this now. When Mitch and I spent a lot of time together, most of you know that he plays baseball. And we traveled all over the country playing. Well, sometimes I felt like I was, but and he probably was saying, Dad, just let me play. Your days are over. But I remember we'd be in the parking lots. And the team would stay at the hotel, and we'd go to these deserted, cheap parking lots, and we'd just bring our ice cream maker, and we just sit out in these fields. So we spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time, a lot of effort on that. And as he was progressing, the worst nightmare any parent of an athlete can hear is, Dad, I have a girlfriend. And and he was with, and of course it was Amy. He's been with her since he was 16 years old. And so Amy really started at a deficit. Her mom, I mean, if you've been in our situation, it's a family affair. It really is. I mean, his sisters and brothers can attest to that when you're trying to get to the level he is, the whole family sacrifices and puts in effort and stuff. And then comes this little girl, Amy, and stuff. So she had a rough, I mean, I didn't even know her and I didn't like her, And we, and I had talks with Mitch, and I'd be like, Mitch, and he'd be like, Dad, it doesn't matter what you say. He goes, she's everything I want. She's this, she's this, she's this. I'm like, I know, Mitch, but you're playing baseball, And I mean, I would seriously try to talk him out of sticking around with Amy, and I didn't even know her. And then when he was playing up at Oregon State, somehow Amy and I, no matter how the cars were split up and how people traveled to the games, Amy and I were together. I mean, I don't know how many hundreds of miles we've traveled together by ourselves, and she now calls me Mike Quest because I know how to get places without her little app telling everything. But I really got to know her, really got to appreciate her, really got to appreciate why Mitch loves her, and why he always, he said she was everything he wanted. And so we our family has really learned to love you, Amy. And I was telling Val, I said, she really did have to overcome a big deficit, of trying to break into our family. And and so I know in order to do that, you have to be a great girl. And I have a lot of trust in Mitch because Mitch is exactly like me, so he's going to make good decisions, And I couldn't be prouder of him, and I couldn't be prouder of you and the two of you together. And he has calmed down since he was a little kid, most of the time. And I know they're going to do great. I know that, like I said, they've been here for 2 months now, and I told them their honeymoon when they leave is mine and Val's honeymoon, because it's going to be fun to have our house back. But Mitch keeps saying, "What are you guys going to do when we leave? What are you going to do?" And it will be sad having them leave, but we'll find things to do. And but anyway, I wholeheartedly support this marriage and Amy being part of our family. And I always say it's kind of, sometimes I always want all the Hickeys in this family to raise their hand, and our relatives of the Hickeys, and they might, even if they don't like you, they're going to protect you. And so you got a lot of people here that got your back, and I know you guys are going to do great. Cheers.